All right, we are live, and welcome back to another weekly late show with my co-host Cody House
Howdy.
and I almost said beautiful co-host Cody. You're a handsome co-host. I was about to introduce my wife, but I had your name in mind, so I was about to mix the two. But you are a handsome co-host.
Cody
And
is beautiful too. You can tell him.
yes,
Beautiful.
you are a beautiful person, Cody.
Chris,
And
do
my
you have
beautiful wife.
hungry eyes right now?
Oh my gosh.
Man,
That was the best Hungry Eyes line.
yes, that's a
No
good
more
lead in,
Hungry Eyes
Cody.
jokes.
You win this podcast. That was pretty good. I was gonna go with something like, "Man, we're getting hot and sweaty for some dirty dancing over here," but the hungry eyes comment just wins.
Is it weird that the 80s songs that were done for this movie feel more dated than like the oldies songs that they're dancing to that are supposed to take place in the era of which the movie takes place in?
That's because those older songs get more airtime than any of the other songs.
Well, that was a slight issue I had because it kind of took you out of the ambiance because it's supposed to be 1962, and they've got. I heard about 2 or 3 songs in there that were 80s songs made for the soundtrack.
There's at least 3 songs on here that are from the 80s. There's the one I just made a joke to.
Mm-hmm.
There's I forget what it is. Something about she's out of my league. Something
she's
song.
Like the wind.
She's like the wind.
Who Patrick Swayze sung, by the way.
No,
that's his song. He sung it, and it actually went up on the charts. And
then the finale song, which has one of the Righteous Brothers on.
That's actually a Righteous Brother and Rachel Gray singing that. Jennifer Gray. Yeah, thank you, Rachel Gray.
I have a Rachel Gray friend, but you should know who that is.
But Jennifer Gray actually sang it. So both Jennifer Gray and Patrick Swayze, who couldn't stand each other, both got
they had to do separate songs.
Singing part on the soundtrack, which was kind of cool. But it did have it had a great soundtrack. It had, it started off with the Ronettes. Be My Baby. And,
Be My Baby.
Man, it had some great songs in there. I'm sorry, baby. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I just love that song by the Ronettes. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you got a lot of those great early 60s, late 50s rock and roll, soul, rhythm and blues songs in here, of course, which is what the movie's about. They're dirty dancing to this music that people get really close to each other to dance to.
Right. That, I don't know, after rewatching it, I don't know, like the dirty dancing was such a small part.
It was so tame
of that
right
movie.
It's like nothing.
It was
there was like maybe not even a total of 2 minutes of just dirty dancing in that entire,
it was sweaty dancing more than it was dirty dancing.
Yeah.
And it's mostly at the dancer party where they all get together and have their own little dance party. That's like where the most of it's at.
And I have been staff at summer camp before, at a summer camp, and I've lived in the staff quarters without air conditioning, and it's hot and it's nasty. People.
That's what they meant by dirty. They just meant
grinding up on people. Yeah.
Of your summer vacation.
I had some PTSD going on there. I'm like, man, it's like a Comic-Con in there. The body odor alone would be enough to gag a person.
No, you said summer camp. This is like a resort though for like well-off families to like spend weeks at a time.
This is up in the Catskills. This is like big Jewish
for the whole family.
Yeah, Catskills were like Jewish community up around like Bethel, New York, around where Woodstock took place. That's all like Jewish community up there, and that's what those camps were like a huge like summer camp for Jewish people. basically.
It's beautiful, though. I mean, it's lovely. Yeah. It seems like a lovely place to be for the summertime.
Right.
It is if you have one of the rooms with air conditioning, I'm certain.
Yeah. But yeah, I like my sisters. This was a big movie with my older sisters growing up. Like, this is a movie that I wasn't supposed to watch, but there I am in the back of the living room watching it, not knowing what's going on. Just a bunch of people, that look miserable, gyrating and moving around, and then there's some plot with her dad, and I guess she loves this guy over here, and the end. That's all I remember.
Speaking of her dad, this movie needs more Jerry Orbach dancing. This is a dancing movie with a Broadway act.
Dance once,
right?
Yeah, I know most people only know Jerry Orbach as the Law and Order guy, but he was a Broadway actor for decades. He's the original Billy on the stage production of Chicago, and he's the voice of Lumiere in Beauty and the Beast.
How could you not know him as Lumiere if you weren't a Law and Order like latchkey kid that had to watch all those TV shows?
And I applaud his character, like, as a dad. Like, it kind of portrayed him. He got upset when, he found out what she used the money for, and he kind of went into the silent treatment. But by the end of it, I don't know, it was resolved, and it seemed like in other movies like that, it would have been a much bigger deal than what it was.
He was a soft dad.
Yeah, like
he also gave her the money without hardly any question. He was like, "Okay, honey."
All right.
Yeah, my parents would have been like, "You're trying to rob me for $250? Not a chance. Get another job, please."
I will say at the end where, after, nobody puts baby in a corner and they're dancing, he just kind of looks at him and is like, "Oh."
Yeah, you scamp, you Patrick Swayze.
You 25-year-old. Go ahead with my 18-year-old daughter. Are you silly kids?
But I mean, well, he found out that Patrick Swayze wasn't the dirtbag because the dirtbag revealed himself, and of course, that man reads the Fountainhead.
Thank you. Yeah, he did. He handed it to her. I can't believe she didn't turn around and go straight to her sister and look, I know we have our differences, but that Robbie kid, don't talk to him again. I can't believe he busted out the Fountainhead. He's like, you should read it. Some people count and some people don't. Like, what?
Robbie and his rapist wit. That's what the adults loved about him.
I don't want to discredit Ayn Rand, but almost every conservative nut job loves that book.
Isn't she a Nazi?
I don't know.
She was a Russian
Nazi. Yeah, I'll be quiet.
Robbie probably grew up to be a talk radio disc jockey.
Who maybe just recently passed from COVID after making fun of it for months.
As early as this is set, he was probably Rush Limbaugh's mentor. Wah, wah. Oh. Who, by the way, is a couple of months drug-free.
For now. Isn't he also dying? Doesn't he have cancer?
Rush Limbaugh?
He's dead.
He's dead. He's been dead for 6 months.
I didn't know.
I was making a crude joke about being drug-free for 6 months.
That is pretty bad.
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I'll be quiet.
COVID-free for that long as well, so.
Yeah, I'll be quiet.
Praise be.
If you like Rush, that's your business. It's not mine. Anyway.
The Catskills.
Where were
Jerry
we?
Orbach.
Back to Orbach and the Catskills, yeah.
Did you know that Patrick Swayze has a sister named Bambi, and she's gorgeous?
Did not know that.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. I remember seeing his first. I think I've posted it a couple of times, but it's one of his first commercials before he hit it, got into acting, and it's a Pabst Blue Ribbon commercial where he's getting ready and he's dancing down the sidewalk, and they're going to this club, and then everybody's drinking Pabst,
That's how I feel when drinking Pabst, dancing down the road.
Right.
No,
Patrick Swayze had a rare thing that not very many leading men can get away with. He was able to pull off very much that he's masculine, but he's also like this very skilled dancer.
He's
Mhm.
very lithe and he's very
Mhm.
romantic and passionate. Yeah.
And like watching this kind of made me think back on some other Swayze movies like Roadhouse and Red Dawn and some of his 80s movies. Like I might catch some flack from this, and I don't mean it in a horrible way. I like the guy. I like the movies that he was in because they're fun, but the guy really, he wasn't the best actor like in the world. Like all of his characters seem exactly the same. It's just Patrick Swayze, eye candy.
It was people willing to love Patrick Swayze.
Yeah,
and
but I'm not saying he wasn't talented, and he had to have been talented. You know, he was a great dancer, and to get the roles that he did have, but it seemed like they were all this. It was just Patrick Swayze. Like,
Well, you know who I
Yeah.
think is the modern equivalent of a Patrick Swayze, but probably a better actor overall, is
Who's that?
Hugh Jackman.
yeah. Yes.
Yeah, because Hugh Jackman is Wolverine. Can come off very masculine and manly,
He's a
but
threat, Hugh Jackman. He can sing, he can dance, he can make your mom feel butterflies. Like that's his. That's very Patrick Swayze. Like
mean,
I'll pick up a bunch of guys for you, but also I will
Hugh
dance.
Jackman can kick your ass, but also be fancy too.
Exactly.
Right.
And how many leading men can pull that off believably?
Not many. That's true. I have to agree with that. Goodness.
And I think Jackman's a better actor, but I think it's a fair comparison that Swayze had a similar career trajectory because I mean he did drag in To Wong Fu as well.
Yeah, he did.
If you didn't feel something for Patrick Swayze between all those movies he did, To Wong Fu and Ghost and Roadhouse and Dirty Dancing, you're lying.
Hey, I tell you what, let's talk about Wong Fu, and that's actually a movie I'd like to do because it's a great movie. Now, there's Wong Fu and there's Priscilla, Queen of the Desert.
Doesn't that have Hugo Weaving in it?
Another triple threat who has been in some very masculine like shoot 'em up movies and some epic movies like Lord of the Rings.
Elf Lord.
Dude can
He's
sing.
also an evil computer chip.
Yeah,
dude can sing. Dude can act. He can play a villain. He
Revolutionary.
He can do the kung fu. He plays an effeminate ass kicking elf. Elrond.
He's not effeminate. He's
elfish. What I mean, effeminate.
Yeah, that's a whole different thing.
It's a very I didn't mean it.
I know it. Yeah,
very elegant.
He's very elegant. Thank you. Thank you. That was the word I should have used. He can be elegant, or he can be an ass kicker, like in The Matrix as Agent Smith. You know. But yeah, I mean, he's an all around.
Yeah, if I saw Hugo Weaving in real life, all I would ever hear in my voice is Mr. Anderson.
Yeah, Mr. Anderson, or like him. You know, I was there, Gandalf, 3,000 years ago.
Have you seen the meme with the Delta going on? Like it's Elrond saying my fall plans, and then Isildur as the Delta variant.
Oh my gosh.
That's great.
Of course, every time I watch that, I'm like, why did Elrond just push him in? That's what I would have done. Oh, you don't want to throw the ring into the fire? Then I guess you could go into the fire too.
Right.
But they would have been so much shorter.
And there's the thing with the Eagles. I know. Hey, we'll get into that in September.
That's coming. That's coming in September and November.
Tolkien
you guys forgot to mention one of the most awesomest Patrick Swayze movies he ever did.
Was it The Outsiders?
Well, that's a good movie. I like it, but no, it's Point Break.
I wrote that down to watch it because I haven't seen that.
Point Break was good. We started that, but the kids.
Is it the surf movie?
Yeah, the kids came in and we had to stop it, and then we never got back to it. We're gonna watch that because it's a great.
I wrote
movie.
that down too on my notes because
Baby Keanu.
Baby Keanu and Patrick Swayze.
And Lori Petty. So, but back to Wong Fu. We need to do a show on that
Is it a
because
summer movie? It's very
you
hot and
have
sweaty looking in that movie.
you have
Isn't that
three,
Wesley Snipes and John
Yes,
Leguizamo?
baby.
yeah. I mean,
Mhm.
you have three like I wouldn't say Wesley Snipes so much. Like I heard he's kind of getting back into action movies, but I'm pretty sure they're all straight to video, like Jean-Claude Van
In
Damme. And
2021?
yeah, he's out of prison. He's been out of prison.
He's been out of prison for a while.
Yeah.
He was in the Expendables 3.
Yeah, I didn't think he was.
He's
in
wanting to
prison,
come back
apparently.
and be involved with Blade, but I mean, as
Yeah,
long
but
as
they've recast it.
yeah, which I'm glad. Like if they did the multiverse thing, I could see him.
They are doing the multiverse. Did you not see the trailer for the new Spider-Man?
But with Blade.
No. I meant with
Oh.
if they brought like if it was a broader spectrum of multiverse,
Gotcha.
like with
They
more
won't even
movie.
let Wesley Snipes show up and like pretend to be Blade, and then he like turns around and there's like.
Well, he
recast
did
Blade.
want a sex scene with Jessica Alba, and he referred to Ryan Reynolds as that honky.
Oh,
on the
that's
set.
Jessica Biel, not Jessica Alba. You got
I mean,
your
not
Jessicas
Alba.
mixed up.
Thank you, Beal.
There were
Thank
so
you.
many Jessicas, you guys.
Yeah, one of the Jessicas, but and then
Is that part of Patton Oswalt's like reveal about what was going on behind the set of the movie?
yeah, and then he stayed in his trailer just high all the time.
Who?
Wesley Snipes on
And Patton Oswalt was telling Wesley Snipes business?
on Blade 3 because Patton Oswalt was in it
Oh.
for a little bit.
Oh, well, also he thought because there was a person of color on the crew who was wearing a Garbage t-shirt because there's a band called Garbage. He thought that David Goyer thought all black people were garbage because this crew member was wearing. He didn't realize it was a band T-shirt that the guy was wearing.
Oh no!
Yeah.
You wouldn't ask that person first, like, "Hey, your T-shirt's cool. What's that about?"
That's the cocaine paranoia.
Oh goodness.
But if you guys have watched What We Do in the Shadows, the TV show.
No,
we haven't, but I want to rewatch the movie.
Okay, well, I'm
gonna
gonna spoil something for you because it's hilarious, and because you mentioned Wesley Snipes wanting to be Blade again. So the characters end up being found guilty for like accidentally killing like some sort of master elder or something, and the Council of Vampires are all famous actors who have played vampires.
That's
and they refer to Wesley Snipes as the Daywalker because he's there in video chat. You got Danny Trejo, Tilda Swinton, Taika, and Jermaine, all the actors from the movie. I think Evan Rachel Wood. I can't remember who else. There's a lot of people, and they keep mentioning that Tom and Brad are busy and they won't return the calls or something.
That's awesome. Yeah, we got to watch it. We're way behind.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, I enjoy the movie thoroughly. Like the movie's great.
Oh, the movie is so cute.
Oh, by the way, guys, I know we are about 18 minutes late.
And we barely talked about Dirty Dancing.
Right, but beverage of choice is ginger ale and whiskey. I took a cue from Cody last week.
Isn't that called like?
Yeah.
I guess technically you could call it a highball.
I guess that.
That is a highball. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mine's the same. Jim Beam and Diet Dr. Pepper.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So and Lindsay is the same whiskey, and she's drinking a highball too. So we decided to switch it up a little bit from the brewskis. From
I need ice.
at Voodoo Ranger. if you ever listen, we've gotten some likes here and there, but. Anyway,
why is my thing open to Rob Lowe? Hold on, I gotta go back to my notes.
Back to
my Google results are on a tangent. I don't know why we were going to talk about Rob Lowe next, but let's talk about Dirty Dancing.
Yeah,
let's not.
Overall. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's fine. Let's talk Dirty Dancing.
Yeah, no, but I was going to go back to the music. Those three songs that you hear really kind of took me out of the. I mean, it's not really a deep movie to begin with, but it kind of took me out of that 1962 being like believing that it was 1962. And even at the end, when everybody's dancing and he turns to the African American gentleman that's the band leader, and he goes, you have sheet music for this stuff? And he's like, oh, I don't know.
Because a record player is playing. There's
no
and band.
There's a record player. Like he had this music on record, but I know it's a movie, and
I will say that
also
that
gentleman is an older gentleman, and he's like a band leader. So like he's been playing the dances that they do from the 20s and 30s probably since the 20s and 30s there.
Mm-hmm.
That's like his music. He probably isn't as well versed in the rock and roll.
Right. And I think something that kind of hit was the camp director, the guy who owned it. Tearing up my chair. Sorry. We have a kitty cat that likes to get up and scratch my chairs up that I don't like. But the camp director, he's sitting there talking to him, and he's like, man, this is all disappearing. This is all like kids don't want to come up here and learn the two-step with their parents anymore. The times are changing, and I think we're witnessing kind of the end of it. And when you think about it, this was still the early 60s. So, hippies hadn't really hit the scene very hard. They were still considered beatniks. And, the long hair and the fashion really hadn't hit yet. I mean, they were all still living in the 50s. And it was an ushering into a different era.
Well, she mentions in the beginning, it's right before Kennedy's killed in November, because this takes place in the summer of 63.
Right.
And so that's roughly a year before the Beatles appear on the Ed Sullivan Show and kind of change rock and roll, because your early 60s rock is pretty much a repeat of what was going on in the 50s, or them trying to recapture what was popular in the 50s. Of course, you've got Motown and all the great soul and R&B artists coming up already in this time period, and they're kind of more of the music that's remembered of that era.
Right.
I'm
sorry, go ahead.
Instead of people like your Paul Anka and your Pat Boones and stuff.
Right. I really thought that was a nice touch of him kind of mentioning that, like, it was the end of their era, and like I said, they went through the Depression and
World War II
with no meat, and they made it through all these eras, and this was kind of it. This was, I don't want to say all hell was about to break loose, but you had the Vietnam War coming up.
They're already talking about it. I mean, it was going on, even though we weren't at full invasion yet. But that's mentioned in the movie. Also, this movie's not deep, but did you know that this is a movie that, I don't know if it was the first movie to do this, but they cite this as one of the first movies to take abortion seriously, like in a major motion picture, and not like placated or downgraded or like sweep it under the rug, like it's a thing that exists.
Right. And kids are going to back alley doctors to have that done, and whether you agree with it or not, that's why we need Planned Parenthood, building. Sorry, hang on.
I mean, but I just want to say that Planned Parenthood does so much more than just abortions. But yes, whether you agree or disagree with those means, there needs to be a place, and we as individuals cannot tell a woman what she can or can't do, or what they can't do with their body.
Right. There was a discussion earlier in this. I won't get into it because this is not what we're about, but it had to do with vaccines. And the woman said, "Oh, well, it's my body, my choice." And I said, "Well, I want you to remember that the next time an abortion issue comes up, because they also have that right. They have the right of my body, my choice. So I really want you to remember that." And I don't think it got through to her because, it seemed like she was a very heavily on the conservative side. But anyway, you're right. It did touch on the importance of why we need facilities that can help young women that go down that road instead of going to a back alley doctor and possibly dying from something like that. And you're right. It touched on that. It's like this teen romance movie, but they kind of snuck that in there, and they handled it very well. Like, they didn't demonize it.
No,
And
not at all.
the only thing he demonized was like, "Oh, this is what you needed the money for. You could have told me. I probably could have referred her or helped her in
Right,
some
because
other
he's a
way."
doctor. Like, he probably
Right.
knows doctors in the area that will perform one.
Right. And he didn't demonize it. Like, he went by and checked on her daily, apparently, from what it from what it seemed. And at the end, they're over there like hugging and laughing, and it looks like he's asking how she's doing. And it wasn't "Oh, well, you're filthy, I don't want any, I treated you, but you're lowly and I don't want anything else to do with you, you're a horrible person." It wasn't like that at all. And I think they treated that issue really well in this movie.
Well, he did not think much of Patrick Swayze when he thought Patrick Swayze was the father of the baby, and then he's like, "Well, now you're trying to move in on my daughter." When
Right. But you know what? That's a legitimate issue. Like, if
I mean,
were,
I would be mad too. Like, his behavior and how he acts is perfectly understandable. And then when he finds out it's the other guy, I don't know, did he give that guy money? Is that what he was giving him? And then he took it back?
It was a letter of recommendation.
Oh, that's what it was,
For
right?
medical school. And
Right.
when he was like, "Oh yeah, I thought they told you," and he was like, "Man, you scumbag," and like he jerked it back, and he went back and to Patrick Swayze's character, and he was like,
And
"Look,
apologized, yeah.
like I will, when I'm wrong, I'll admit it, and I was wrong." And I thought that was cool. I thought that was a great touch, because they didn't, like in any other teen movie, they would have villainized the parents.
Oh, the dad would have been extreme in an average movie. I mean, they don't give the mom much to do in this movie, and it's played, most people will recognize her as the grandma from Gilmore Girls.
That was her. I was trying to place her. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I was trying to place her. But yeah, I thought it was handled in a tasteful manner. And
plus neoconservative Fountainhead man got his ass whooped by Patrick Swayze too.
Yes. Yeah, I thought that was great. Man, his car, that black 57, that was my first car.
Oh yeah?
57 I had one just like that, except it was 4-door, and I bought it. I worked at Berkshire Brothers for a whole year to pay it off. And nice. Except my parents had it. I took it and they were like, "We'll paint it for Christmas. That'll be your Christmas present." I said, "I want canary yellow." I don't know why, but it was just different. I had a canary yellow with a white top, and then baby moon hubcaps with the white walled tires. It was just such a sweet car. And I kicked myself for selling it. But anyway, I had to have a shout out for his car, because
it is a cool car. And then he just breaks the window because he locked his keys in the car.
Oh, that kills
very dramatic.
Me. In the 80s, they were still using cars like that for just fodder, car chases, or something needed to be crushed or blown up, or you know, yeah, we'll just blow up one of these cars. It's about 15, 20 years old. It's no biggie, 30 years old. It's all right. They're not considered classics yet. And then nowadays you're like, oh no, that poor car. But yeah, I had to give a shout out to his car. Those 57 Chevys are sweet.
Yeah, it's a great car, and there's a lot of really good dancing. And despite Swayze and Jennifer Grey not liking each other, you can't tell on camera.
Okay, she did a really good job. There are certain scenes, and it's after I had mentioned it to Lindsay. We were both sitting there watching his face, and there are a few scenes where I'm like, man, it really like he's really trying to power through this scene because he really can't stand her, like they masked it really well. But there was one scene in particular, and I wish I could point it out, but like they were really close, and it was some dance move, and it was like the look on her face was passable, but his face was like a look of disgust, like, man, just stick with it. I'm getting a lot of money for this. Fame and notoriety.
You know what's sad is this was like her first big role because she was only probably known for playing Ferris's sister in Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
What was this? Was this pre Wolverines or post Wolverines?
No, it's post. I know she's in Red Dawn as well.
Yeah, and she didn't have a huge part in that.
That's what I thought.
She had a part, but it wasn't like it was secondary and not,
But she was small. In a accident with Matthew Broderick, who she was dating at the time, and he killed a mother and a daughter in a car accident over in Ireland, and apparently she suffered hugely from survivor's guilt. So she didn't work a lot after this movie. She showed up in things from here and there throughout the years, but never anything again to the magnitude of this.
I know she got a nose job, and that's like when I looked up online, there was mixed review. It was mixed. People were like, well, it was because of the wreck and survival's guilt, and some people were like, well, it's because she got the nose job and she didn't look the same after that.
But she didn't get that nose job till much later, though.
That's what I thought.
That wasn't like back in the 80s.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Like that's what I read, is it was just survivor's guilt, and that'd be rough too. But I guess Matthew Broderick can move on a lot faster than some people.
I guess so, yeah. Because he was working quite a bit at this time period, and then he's had a whole different career on stage.
Right. I wonder if they determined it was their, like, I don't know. I heard he'd been drinking, or like they had been drinking, but I don't know. Again, that's that hearsay, and I don't want to get into that. But
no, I was just saying that's the reason why she kind of didn't go anywhere after this, because it's kind of weird, because I think this movie was massively successful.
Mm-hmm.
If it wasn't a box office hit, I think it was, but I think I remember, because of course I was a toddler when this movie came out, but I remember when Swayze died, a guy I was in a play with was telling me that he worked at a video store at the time it came out on video, and he's like, they couldn't keep a copy, and they had like 20 or 30 copies of it in the store.
Oh wow! I bet. Yeah, I heard it was very popular between amongst the teens and the housewives there.
Don't dismiss those demographics, Christopher. They rule the world.
Oh, I'm not. Got to keep them housewives happy.
Housewives are the reason. Yes.
Give them some shirtless Swayze every once in a while if they need it.
Well, apparently, this was Gilda Radner's favorite movie. When she was dying, they said she watched this every day.
Oh wow! Well, I mean, good for her though.
Heartbreaking.
Yeah, it is heartbreaking.
Because Gilda Radner.
You've seen the Love? Was that in Love, Gilda? Did I miss that?
where they talked about her favorite movie.
Yeah, have you
I have
seen
no
Logan?
idea. I have not seen that. I just know it was mentioned.
It's good. Definitely watch it. It's a tearjerker, especially when they get to like the last, like with Gilda and
Gene Wilder.
yeah, Gene Wilder and everything. Oh man. Anyway, we'll change the subject. But yeah, if you haven't seen that, watch it. I highly recommend it. Give it a shot. But that's cool. That was her favorite movie, and she watched it over and over again. That'll probably be me on my deathbed, except with
not with Dirty Dancing.
Not with Dirty Dancing, but with Big Trouble in Little China, just over and over again. God, Dad, really? When are you gonna kick it? Because I cannot hear Jack Burton. Yeah. And my dying words will be like, you know what old Jack Burton says. Anyway, hopefully not for a long time.
Oh, but it could be Escape from New York, and everyone would just be like, "I thought you were dead."
That's right. You know what? Me, Cody. I'll have to switch it up. It'll be Escape from LA, the one everyone hates.
The director's cut of that one.
The director's cut. Yeah. How'd you find?
I don't think there's a director's cut of that, but if there is, you know where it is.
Oh, I'll sniff it out.
Because you find director's cut to things they've never released a director's cut of. You're like, have you seen the director's cut of this?
Yes.
No, I didn't know it existed. It's
I'm
on
guilty.
The dark web, but it's there.
Hey, I'm guilty because someone posted, and I love that movie, about That Thing You Do.
Yeah.
And nobody said anything about the extended cut. I'm like, don't do it, Chris. Don't do it.
Oh, well, you'll have to tell Lisa, whoever her guest is for that show, because when she says she's doing research, that's what it is that the guest picks the movie and then they watch it.
She was doing research, and I was like, don't do it, Chris. Come on, man. We're gonna call
you Dad the extended cut.
Yeah. people are gonna think you're a jackass, man. Don't do it. And I did it. I said the extended cut. I said the extended version's so great.
Always watch more of the movie if there's more of the movie to watch.
Right. It's not always the greatest, but hey, at least
not every director's cut or extended cut's better.
No. But at least you know what they cut. That's
Well, that's why they have the deleted scene commentary too. You can.
Oh, I want to see it in the movie. I want to see how it plays out.
And maybe they fixed it for Blu-ray, but I remember like a lot of Universal movies, the DVDs with the director's cut were like really bad about transitioning into those extra scenes. Like the Blues Brothers director's cut is like really bad when they would throw in those extra scenes.
Oh yeah, you can tell, but that's still great. That's still a great director's cut.
Christopher says you get to say that you saw the whole movie.
Yeah, you got to see the whole movie. May not be great, but you got to see it.
It was the movie. It was more.
Come on, people. Extended and director's cuts is where it's at. If you need some help, let me know. I'll point you in the right direction.
Well, I prefer the theatrical cut of Alien over the director's cut.
Now, Aliens, I prefer.
Oh yeah, Aliens. I'm okay with that director's cut, but the Alien director's cut, I'm like, I like the theatrical better.
I can see that. I guess I can see that. There's gonna be like someone's birth video, okay, and I'm gonna dig it up, and I'm gonna be like, did you know there's a director's cut to this? Have you seen the director's cut?
And edited this, and it was way better.
Yeah, there was some shit. There was some stuff that was left on the floor. And I'm telling you,
so much more about the dad character and how he faints.
Look, it's put back in, and it's so much more visceral and just.
But the mom edited it out because she's like, that doesn't need to be in the movie.
Nobody needs to know that. That's our business.
Nobody needs to see that except me and my doctor.
Doesn't Patton Oswalt do a bit about directors and editors? And it really is like it's like a man-woman role where the women are like, "That's nice, but now I have to clean up your mess, so get out of my way. Let me do this."
Yeah, he's like, yeah, the directors are like, let me shoot my film. I'm gonna film the shit out of everything. And then he's like, okay, honey. All right, let me pick this up. Let me look at this mess. Let me try and make this salvageable and watchable. Come on, hold on. You went a little crazy. That's a lot of film that we didn't need to use.
Yeah, that's yeah. We're gonna have one of these days. I'm gonna sit down and we're gonna have a director's cut. I'm gonna have a list of director's cuts, and then we'll have like a director's cut off.
Oh, just wait till we get to Ridley Scott. You're gonna have your director's cut heyday.
Oh yeah.
Just about every one of his movies had a director's cut.
And there are like 3 different versions of
Blade Runner. Yeah,
Blade Runner. Thank you. I came in my brain, which
there's the theatrical cut that came out in '82, and then there's the director's cut he did in '92, and then there's the final cut that came out in 2007.
Right. I remember that version, and I almost bought it from Hastings because it came in a briefcase, and it was like a special edition, and it had like all 3 films, and it had like a replica of the flying, his flying police car, and it was pretty sweet looking, but I passed it up. I know there's like 2 or 3 different versions of Close Encounters too.
Yeah.
So, which is weird because that's a Spielberg. You don't get a lot of Spielberg extended cuts.
I'm pretty sure he's usually satisfied with his cuts, or he gets final cut. So,
yeah.
Which most of your big name get final cut, anyways, nowadays. So,
right. Well, so yeah, I think we may. Now, there's more things to talk about, but have we missed anything? Because we might have covered this movie. And
we've covered the Swayze. We've covered Gray a little bit. We talked about the dancing. We talked about the chemistry. We talked about Jerry Orbach. We talked about even some of the seriousness of the movie. A little bit of one minor character. I mean, you got a young Wayne Knight in here as, like, I guess, MC.
Yeah, he was pretty good in that. Man, you know what? I think the MVP of this whole movie is Orbach.
I mean, the guy was a legend. He was a talented stage actor, and I can't believe he only dances for a little bit in this movie. Like, there should have been more Orbach dancing.
Man, but yeah, his whole character as a dad was, I don't know, they portrayed him really awesome in this. Like, he could have been a douchebag, like how they portray any other parent in any other movie, being a hard ass, tightwad dad. But no, he was all about his daughters. He was all about supporting his daughters. Like, what do you need? Again, when she asked for the $250, it was like, oh, okay. Well, you can't tell me. I'll have it before dinner. He was very trusting. So, and even after everything kind of came to light, and he helped that girl after the back alley abortion, and I know he pouted, which was, again, it is totally justified. Because he was just being a dad. I don't think he was overreacting. He was trying to process it, and he finds out the truth, and he makes it right. I mean, he apologizes, and she's 18. They're in love, I guess. So
maybe, but maybe it's the pessimist in me. But I don't think they end up together.
No, I think it was just a summer fling. He probably ended up being a house painter. Yeah. I'd like to think that she went on to do what she was wanting to do with the Peace
Yeah,
Corps.
I'm sure she went and joined the Peace Corps, got her degree, and is probably did something to help make the world a better place for the less fortunate.
Right. They cross paths later on down the road, and he's divorced 3 times. You know, he chain smokes and chain drinks, lives in a half finished house.
It's the Notebook.
It's the Notebook, yeah, and then it slowly evolved into the Notebook.
Isn't that what happens to Ryan Gosling in the Notebook?
Yeah.
Like
What do you want from me? What do you want from me? What do you want from me? That's like just that one scene. Oh, I worked at the theater for that movie.
I actually like that movie. Surprisingly, it's of those Nicholas Sparks movies. It's not bad.
I didn't mind it when I worked there because I saw all the girls that were crying around their boyfriends. I'm like, man, if I could just get some girl to go with me, this would be it. But that never happened. So, but yeah, it wasn't bad, and it's not bad. Like, I think I make fun of it a little more because I'm older, and it's just so damn unrealistic that it's unbelievable. But
well, yeah, but I think of like all those Nicholas Sparks adaptations. It's like the most watchable one, and plus the whole James Garner, Gina Rowlands stuff is kind of sweet.
It is, and I don't think I've seen any of his other movies, like A Walk to Remember, and
I never watched that. I remember though that being really popular with the Christian circle.
Oh, okay, yeah,
yeah, because I think she was like a Christian in the movie or something. I don't remember.
Oh, okay, just something, or like one Christian song featured in it.
I did see another, like, Nicholas Sparks did not make these movies. It's just, he's got that name, like a lot of, like, he was like the John Grisham of romance, because, there for a while, all of the John Grisham books were being turned into movies.
Right.
It was a thing in the night. Well, Sparks is more 2000s. I saw
early 2000s.
I saw something with my mom one time with Richard Gere and Diane Lane. I can't remember, but it's based off a Nicholas Sparks book too, and something about it.
And the women.
No, that's a Robert Altman movie, and I don't believe Diane Lane is in that.
I wouldn't watch that with my mom. I'm just saying.
No, that's not what we saw
in that movie. Like
he is.
Isn't it kind of raunchy? Yeah. Okay.
It's a little raunchy. Like, he's got his wife, he's got his daughters. I think there's a nurse or I can't remember like what's going on in that movie. Yeah. No, it was like Knights in Rotun or something. I don't know. Huh. It's kind of like the Bridges of Madison County, like similar plot.
I vaguely remember Bridges of Madison County. If I remember correctly, there was a sex scene with
Clint Eastwood and Meryl Streep. Yes,
because I remember flipping through the channels and I'm like, oh, the Bridges of Madison County. Never seen it, so I was watching a little bit of it, and then that came out. I was like, nope. I was like, I
haven't seen it. Then don't watch The Mule.
I heard about that too, and I heard that was a good movie. I just haven't watched it yet. So do you think he's gonna get freaky in his new one?
I don't think he's gonna get freaky and cry macho.
Cry macho at what, 90 years old?
91 years old. He's still out there making movies.
Good for that goat, though. I mean, whatever, adrenochrome or the blood of babies, whatever the Hollywood folks are doing, it's working for Clint Eastwood.
I think it's just working, honestly.
Yeah, I think it is too. I think just keep him busy.
Mm-hmm.
Keep him busy in more ways than one, apparently.
Yeah, I haven't seen The Mule either, but when I heard there was that scene, I was like, I don't want to see that.
Yeah, I don't know, man. My dad, my dad was a nurse before he retired, and he worked at several nursing homes. And he's like, "Son," I said, "I'm not going to share anything, but I want to tell you, they're active well into the nursing homes because you walk in on them." And he's just like, "The best thing to do is just back out and shut the door, and just make sure that nobody broke any hips or anything afterwards."
Hey, as long as it's consensual.
Yeah, that's what. And I was like, 1, ew. 2, good for them. And 3, don't ever tell me anything like that again, please. But
yeah, yeah.
anyway, we'll segue back into Dirty Dancing here.
I don't know. It's good for what it is, you know.
Yeah,
It's not
not
a favorite of mine. I think I actually prefer Ghost as far as like the romance Patrick Swayze movies. But
yeah, it's been years since I've seen Ghost too, and that might be one I have to revisit.
Also has a Righteous Brothers song, I guess. Patrick Swayze and the Righteous Brothers. Of course, it's an already established Righteous Brothers song. I just remember apparently David Letterman made a joke when the movie came out because Demi Moore and Bruce Willis were on his show together. And Die Hard 2 also came out that summer. And Letterman was like, "How's your little Die Hard movie doing?" Because I guess Ghost was really popular.
Right. Man. Yeah, I remember when that movie came out, man. My parents rented it, and the whole pottery making scene was cover your eyes, but I vaguely remember that movie. Like, I think I've only seen it twice.
Whoopi Goldberg got an Oscar for it.
Yeah, that's what I remember that. Like, I remember it being a big movie at the time. I was too young when I watched it the first time, and the second time, I don't know. I was still younger. I don't remember it all that much. So it'll have to be when I go back and revisit.
But yeah, for what this movie is, it's pretty good. I guess I'm not old enough to have nostalgia for it because I wasn't old enough to like care.
Right.
Because I was probably still in diapers when this came out. And I watched it. What? It came out in 1987.
Yeah. I was just turning 5. So I was still too young. It was a tweenie, it was a teen. Like I said, my older sisters rented it and they'd watch it, and
but
I never got much to about. But
I know that for certain people this is like a beloved movie. Mm-hmm. It's like what Titanic probably is for people our age.
Right.
It's a similar type of movie. Mm-hmm. And popularity and appeal. Of course, Dirty Dancing didn't make the monumentous amount of money that Titanic made, but
right. They've done a sequel and a remake, and
I never saw the sequel. Was it called Havana Nights? I heard Patrick Swayze like showed up in.
I did not know that. I thought he had died after.
No, I think Havana Nights came out before he died because he died in 2009.
Oh, okay. Because I remember seeing the trailers for it, and I'm like, "What is this stuff? Like, what is this?" I'm like, "No, does not appeal to me. Not in my demographic at all."
Did they remake it?
They remade it. It was a TV movie.
Oh,
and it had Little Miss Sunshine. Abigail
Breslin's in it.
Abigail Breslin is the main
baby,
girl in her baby,
or whatever her name is. Is it? What was her real name?
Not Frances.
That's what I was about to say.
Was it Frances?
I don't think it's Frances, but that's what I keep thinking it is.
Yeah, I was gonna say Matilda. It's a unisex name because I've heard it say. I've heard a guy.
No, it is Frances.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, it is Frances.
I've heard guys called Frances too.
Well, yeah, that's the whole joke in Deadpool, right? The bad guy's name is Francis.
Oh yeah, it is, isn't it? Damn. Well, yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna say it's a bad movie. Like,
No.
it's not a bad movie. It's just not my cup of tea. I'll rewatch it later on, maybe. Just to revisit it at some point, because I think it did have I think the impact it had on 80s movies, you know, when somebody brings up the 80s or somebody's talking about the 80s, Dirty Dancing is going to pop up. And, you know, so yeah, I mean, I think it's a good movie for what it is. Like, it was
And I
decent.
mean, it's a normal plot, you know, well-to-do girl falls for a guy on the wrong side of the tracks, or
Mhm.
the low-income side of the tracks, or whatever, you know.
Right. He just wanted to be a dancer. But
so I mean, it's one you've seen before, but I think it's better than a lot of movies that kind of play in that demographic, especially of that era.
right.
I
That
mean,
is That is one other thing. I was like, look, I know this is the Catskills and this is largely a Jewish community, but I saw one black couple there, and that was it.
Yeah.
One black couple there in that entire, like, in the crew that were dancing, and I'm like, oh, yeah, okay, they probably laundry or kitchen. But still, you know, come on, man. And again, this is the 80s, but they could have done better in that department. I know it was a different time and everything. I was kind of disappointed on that part because there should have been more.
Especially since they're dancing to black music.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, from, like, I'm not an expert, but if I recall from what I've read and watched, that's where a lot of the Dirty Dancing originated from.
Oh, come on, Chris. Are you saying that white people take black people's culture and use it?
Elvis. Oh, excuse me.
Yeah.
Sorry, got this cough in my throat.
You know, Pat Boone made a career out of covering African American artists' music so that they could show it to white audiences. So go dig up some interviews with Little Richard and hear his thoughts on Pat Boone.
I can only imagine. I've seen some Little Richard stuff, and man, I could only imagine what he's talking about. I'll have to look that up though. That seems pretty interesting. But yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it. I mean, I'm gonna, you know, it's not in my top 20, you know, but it might, you know, I might honestly go so far as to put it in the top 50, like, overall. Like, it's a decent movie, and it's probably more nostalgia on my part from my sister's renting it and watching it, you know. But yeah, I mean, it's not bad. Like, I think they handled the situations well. They didn't villainize the parents like most movies of that era do, or did, or still do today. Again, Orbach is a great dad in this, you know. I think they handle, and the abortion topic was handled really well in this movie. I am slightly disappointed that there was only, like, again, maybe a total of 1.5 to 2 minutes of Dirty Dancing in this film.
Misleading title.
Dirty Dancing, yeah. But I'm relieved that she was 18. Her character was 18 in this, because I remember when I put it on to watch this, I was like, oh man, okay. I'm trying to remember how old she was, but she's 15 in this, and he's like in his 20s, and they're doing some of the things that I remember them doing. This is not going to be a good. This is not going to be a good movie at all. But I was wrong. I was wrong about that, and I will give them that. They handle it well, and for the content, it was a decent movie. It's a good movie, so I have to go with thumbs up. You know,
Yeah. It it is what it is. It's not like one of my favorite movies, but like I
yeah,
said, for the genre and the subject and the era, I think it's better than The Average Bear.
right. And
Eh,
you could take it. It could be a date movie. I mean,
yeah,
back then, even today,
yeah.
if you're into that sort of thing, it could be a date movie that still has okay themes and that isn't just
I think it's
completely
incredibly.
rapey.
Oh yeah, that I mean, we do have the rapey guy, but he's villainized,
Right.
thankfully.
Yeah, they take care of that towards the end. He stays the scumbag uh in it. So, but
I think it's incredibly dated, but
mm,
I think there's some really good music in this, but I prefer the music of the era than the music that was for the movie.
right. And I have the soundtrack, and I'll be listening to the songs, and one of those three songs will pop up, and I'm like, come on, man! It kind of ruins the mood. Like I get where they were coming from. You've got to throw some songs in there. The one that I will, the "Time of Your Life," the song at the end with Jennifer Grey, and then they used what's his name?
I don't know which of the Righteous Brothers it is.
One of the Righteous Brothers. They originated from that type of music, and I could see them doing a duet and them kind of working that into the soundtrack. But "She's Like the Wind" was totally man. When they played that in the movie, I was like, man, that's definitely it dropped the cheese factor. But overall, it was good. They had a,
I
you
don't
know,
know how this would hold up for modern audiences, but I think if you're nostalgic for this era,
mm,
whether it be because you grew up in the 60s or because you grew up when this movie came out or you're a huge Patrick Swayze fan, then you'll
mhm,
like this movie. But you've probably already seen it a bajillion times. But
right,
I think it's not something that needs to be like discarded and locked in a vault to remain in the 80s. I think there's something there to watch now. Is it a great movie? No, but it's pretty fun.
yeah. I mean, again, if it's you got a date, or you want to put something on to watch with the wife, get some smoozy points. It's a good movie. Good movie for a little date night or whatnot. But yeah, if you haven't seen it, give it at least one shot. Like it's one that I would say watch at least once. And I'm gonna say that with every movie, unless it's just like Independence Day 2. Don't waste your time.
There
I
are
will.
some bad movies, but yeah, most movies, even if they're like aggressively boring,
Mm,
most movies have something in them, even if they don't quite work, that are interesting
right.
for
But
the
yeah,
most part.
for the
But
most part,
this one's fine. I think if you
yeah.
like this, if you like the Sways, if you like that kind of music, if you like a good romance film, you like
Mm,
dancing, give it a check out if you for some reason have not seen this movie.
right. Or
So
or like I said earlier, put it on, get some popcorn, say, honey, we're gonna watch Dirty Dancing tonight. And I'm telling you, the look on her face will be like, where's my husband and what have you done with him? I'm telling you, it's a very romantic gesture. Like for some
well,
reason,
you can also say if we watch Dirty Dancing, we'll watch Dirty Dancing, but we got to watch Point Break too.
Yeah.
which is
That's a
also
good
a
double
romance movie, but it's between two men who have
That's
mutual
right.
respect for each other.
Romance, bromance, double feature. Can't go wrong with it. Heck yeah. Now I want to finish Point Break. That might be a this weekend movie.
Man, you gotta watch Point Break. It's so good.
Right. That reminds me of that part in Hot Fuzz. You never see Point Break? You know, you've never gone through the air and firing your gun going, oh. I love that movie. It's great.
Hot Fuzz is great. So we're gonna do Adam's Family Values next week to close our summer movie season.
Man, let's do it. That I can't believe that. That sounds good. That sounds really the close of the summer season. Man, I've been waiting.
It'll be September 1st, Labor Day, September 6th. So
Yeah,
everyone's already back in school at this point.
I'm ready. Let's do it. Let's close out the summer. That'll be a good close out, inching into spooky season because they go to summer camp and it's the Addams Family. So that is the perfect segue, and it should be fun. And we've got I say a huge, and we still have to line it out. Okay, I don't want to lie to you guys, but maybe it's just big in my head. We got a lot of Halloween movies coming up that we want to get into, and we're going to get into them early, I think.
Yeah, should we just start in September and just go into October?
Let's just do it. Let's do it.
I mean,
let's do it early. I'm down.
I'm all about already. I mean, they got pumpkin spice coffee out already. They already have Count Chocula, Boo Berry, and Frankenberry. Like, they are pushing. I don't know if I think they did this too last year where they were pushing fall. So I guess Halloween is getting like early because, you know, they start pushing Christmas before Halloween's over.
They already got Halloween candy out in the dollar store.
There you go.
Which is
so I will apologize to all you people who get excited about Christmas early in the year. Fine, you can be excited about Christmas as much as you want, because I'm already excited about Halloween.
Thanksgiving night and the day after Thanksgiving, Christmas season starts for me. I do not do it beforehand. I do not. Before Thanksgiving is off limits when it comes to Christmas. I cannot get into the mood. I cannot be cheery until after the zombies are packed away and all the blood has been sucked, and you know the death and decay has worn off from Halloween.
Yeah, I don't mess with Santa until November 1st, and even then, I'm like you, more after Thanksgiving. But
yeah, I'm directly.
But I'm
after
fine with talking about Halloween for nearly 2 months.
There's so much that we need to. So if anybody's listening, or if you get a hold of this, and we'll put up stuff on the page, we need people to talk about scary movies. We want to cover so many scary movies. So please, if you have a favorite franchise or a favorite horror movie, feel free to join in, because this is, the summer movies were fun. That's great, but I'm ready to get into the blood and the guts and the gore and the horror stuff. It's going to be great.
All right. Well, I'm looking. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We roughly have 8 movies we can do, or 8 shows, and then if we wanted to do like a special Halloween episode, that's 9.
We should. And I know we had kind of discussed sneaking in an episode, sneaking in an extra episode or 2 if we can, or if we want to. So I'm down with that, especially if we have any guests that want to come on board. But I'm excited. I'm ready. Like there's so many I haven't seen, and there's so many that I have seen that I want to talk about. So, and I know we're not going to get to all of them.
We can't cover them all.
No,
So we
can't.
gotta just decide on what we want to cover.
Right. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm ready. I'm down. I know the remake of the Blob is one that I enjoy a
Oh,
lot.
I've never seen the remake. I've only seen the original with Steve McQueen.
Oh, so they're both great, but the remake was so good. I love the remake. So 88, I think.
I think it is 88 with Matt Dillon's brother.
Yeah, the weird Dylan. But
he's weirder than Matt. Wow.
yeah, he's pretty weird. But yeah, I'm down, and we will, after we finish next week's episode, we will go ahead and line that out. I need to be better about posting which episodes we're going to do ahead of time. Lots of things I need to work on, but we'll get to it, and yeah, we'll go from there.
Alrighty. Well, if anyone is up watching, I haven't seen any active viewers. That's fine. It's late at night, a weekday.
Yeah, we get it.
It'll be on the Facebook page. You can check us out. Check us out for other things. We're doing Wes Anderson and Guillermo del Toro. Mm-hmm. We will be back in September to cover more films of theirs. That's probably going to take us all the way into the new year based on availability and guests. And then we'll move on to our next auteurs. Well, good night. Stay safe. Stay cool, because it is super hot in Texas right now.
Yes. Just saw 2 hobbits walk past my window carrying a ring to Mordor. It is that freaking hot outside. Yeah.
I think I opened the door and the dream sequence from T2 started.
Yes. I opened the door and Mad Max came around. Okay, I'll stop. I could go on.
The Fury Road version.
The Fury Road version. I saw a guy with a flaming guitar saying, "What a day, what a lovely day.
Witness me."
Yeah. saying something about I didn't need water,
aqua
water
or whatever they call it.
Guzzling and mother's milk. I just need mother's milk. Oh.
All right, it's not our most tangency episode, but it's pretty tangency tonight. Well, good night, everybody.
All right, guys. See you next week.